A while back, I said that Justin Fields, Ohio State's quarterback, isn't that great of an NFL prospect as a quarterback. And oh boy, people got really, really mad at me. And so I want to unpack that sentence and unpack that phrase and that statement. I watched the tape from Justin Fields' entire season last year, and it was his first year as Ohio State's starting quarterback. This is not an attack on Justin Fields. I want people to listen to what I have to say. A lot of times, especially on YouTube, people just comment really angry stuff without listening to what I have to say first. Listen to what I have to say. Man, if you disagree, no problem. You can just hate my assessment. And I want to say I'm rooting for the guy. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I think he has NFL potential, and I want him to make it in the NFL. But on film, you see a lot of stuff. When I watch tape, I see a lot of things that Justin Fields needs to improve on if he wants to succeed as an NFL quarterback. Now, before we get into that, people always talk about his stats. You know, Justin Fields had 41 touchdowns last year to only 3 interceptions. Obviously, it's very clear Justin Fields had a very successful year last year. No question, right? He had a successful season. But numbers in college, having good statistics in college, does not necessarily mean a quarterback is ready for the NFL. Now, the number one thing Justin Fields needs to improve on as a quarterback is ball location. Regularly last year, Justin Fields was throwing to people who were wide open, and that meant that his inaccuracy and his problems with ball location went unnoticed because it didn't matter. If you have a guy wide open and you underthrow him a little bit, hey, no problem. The guy still caught the ball, still probably scored a touchdown. There are 2 really, really key examples of this in the Florida Atlantic game and the Cincinnati game, both games where Ohio State won by a ton of points. And despite the fact that his team won by a lot, Justin Fields himself was far from perfect. There was a 10-yard out against FAU, Florida Atlantic, where he throws it high and just way out of bounds, and you're like, that's a 10-yard out. You can't miss that throw. Or against Cincinnati, he had a wild miss on a corner route, which was not near anybody, and he had an out route, which is way late and way too far inside, almost picked off. And again, people ignore these little tiny things because Ohio State ran the ball really well, and he was up by a lot of points, so the incompletions he threw didn't matter. But if you watch the tape of Justin Fields, yeah, his team is winning, but not necessarily is Justin Fields playing great, and not necessarily is he making a lot of NFL-level throws. These are just a few examples I mentioned, Florida Atlantic and Cincinnati, of a high-volume problem where Justin Fields regularly struggles with accuracy. He does not throw the ball at an NFL level. Doesn't drive the ball into tight windows the way you want to see an NFL quarterback do. And I really hope that Justin Fields, the issues I'm going to talk about, I hope he sees them on tape and addresses them, because it's really easy. The problem is that it's really easy for a guy like Justin Fields, who, you know, played really well, had good stats, and had a successful year with his team. It's easy for a guy to buy into their own hype and just talk about, yeah, man, 41 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But the reality is that if Justin Fields wants to succeed at the NFL level, which I think he does, I'm pretty sure Justin Fields wants to be an NFL quarterback, he's got work to do. He threw an interception against Michigan where a deep ball just got away from him. It happened twice in this game where, you know, one before halftime where against Michigan State, where Justin Fields throws a deep ball. The ball just got away from him. It's not a good throw. It's nowhere near anybody. One before halftime was dropped. And it's not really an encouraging thing to see a guy struggling with accuracy, struggling with throwing the ball. Now, accuracy is something that Justin Fields can improve on and can work on. Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts both got better at that last year. Justin Fields can get better at accuracy as well. He can get better with footwork. He can have better throwing the ball. But I encourage people, go watch Ohio State versus Clemson last year. Justin Fields had 2 interceptions. He should have had 4. Early in the game, on a 2nd and 9, he got baited into a bad decision and was lucky the defender dropped the ball. Also, later in the game, he was late and inaccurate on a comeback where an interception was dropped, where he hitched up multiple times, holding onto the ball too long, and the ball was way too far inside. So late and way inside on a comeback, you can't do that. That's not an NFL-level throw. Justin Fields' highlights are phenomenal. Go watch his highlights, you go, oh my gosh. This dude looks like an NFL quarterback. But the problem is, If you just look at highlight reels, every quarterback looks incredible. For the most part, every quarterback has got some good numbers. You look at his highlights, you go, man, this guy can play. But the reality is that Justin Fields played on a stacked Ohio State team that last year hid a lot of his issues. His problems were not easy to see because his team's winning by 40 points and running the ball the entire second half. He struggled with stepping into pressure. If he couldn't throw as a guy was hitting him, he really struggled to step into pressure as he's throwing the ball. You don't see many throws where Justin Fields worked across the field to his third and his fourth option. You see a lot of times he's catching the ball, he's locked in one side of the field or the other. He's regularly throwing to his first and second reads. Again, that's not entirely his fault. He played on a really good offense and a really good system where he didn't need to often work to his third and his fourth read. But you never saw that, and that's concerning because you want to see an NFL player have NFL habits, and he doesn't. You also saw Justin Fields regularly underthrow a lot of deep balls. He made bad decisions where he was throwing into traffic and receiver would bail him out, make a crazy catch where you're like, oh, that's not a good play, but oh, well, the receiver helped him, so whatever. Again, I want to be very clear. I see NFL potential from Justin Fields. The way he moves is incredible. He's so good at running around and extending plays. I'm not completely out on Justin Fields. I'm not saying he's awful. And in spite of his mistakes, he's actually a relatively solid decision maker within Ohio State's offense. But his stats are way padded with guys being wide open and a lot of screen passes. And I keep seeing people rank Justin Fields as the number 2 quarterback in next year's NFL draft. Oh boy, people need to slow down. This guy's got a lot of growing to do if he wants to succeed at the NFL level. Most people just look at his stats or his highlights, and neither one is really a good representation of how a quarterback plays, because you want to watch a quarterback's bad plays to see what's their bottom, what's their bad plays look like. You can't just judge a player on all his best moments. I'll be honest, I can't wait to watch Justin Fields next year. Again, I have hope and I believe that he can continue to develop into an NFL quarterback. 2 years ago, Joe Burrow was not the same quarterback he is today. Justin Fields can get better, but he's got to work on throwing the ball with bodies in his face. He's got to work on throwing the ball to his third and his fourth option. He's really got to work on ball location. He can't throw the ball low or high or behind people or underthrow deep balls. He's got to have better ball location if he wants to succeed at an NFL level. Right now, it's just not. His timing, I want to see more NFL throws. Timing's a huge deal from Justin Fields. He's often late and too inside on out routes. That's a problem. And people are going to think I'm hating on the guy. I am not. My job is to tell you what the film says, and the film says that Justin Fields needs to improve a lot if he wants to succeed at an NFL level. I don't hate the guy, but he's got things he needs to work on. Those are exactly what he needs to work on. He could. I hope he does. But again, the film says he needs to improve if he wants to succeed at the NFL level.